Mommy and Daddy's divorced, and a divorced mom pretty much got nothing. I'm not gonna leave my mom by herself. So I'm gonna make sure my mother's taken care of. None of my siblings have helped me take care of my mother to make sure she was okay, except for Tamar. No one said,
this is before Vincent.
Before Vincent. Mommy's car insurance is due. Let's help Toni with Mommy car insurance.
Listen, if there's one thing folks figured out real quick about the Braxtons, it's that Toni was out here literally holding it all down by herself. Financially, emotionally, everything. She was the backbone of that family, and it drained the life right out of her. Some even think all that stress might have played a role in the autoimmune condition she's battling now. And get this, allegedly, Tamar's been spilling behind the scenes, saying Toni was carrying so much weight on her shoulders that it broke her down. She even said she feels bad for her sister because Toni had to file for bankruptcy not once, but twice. Can you imagine the pressure? But here's where things get messier. Rumor is the whole situation got so out of hand that Toni might have married Birdman just for the check and filed for divorce 2 days later. 2 days. That's what folks in the streets are whispering, and baby, Juice Alert is diving into all the tea. Now, a lot of people don't realize that while Toni Braxton is a full-blown legend, like Grammys, platinum records, Billboard chart toppers, she was barely bringing in enough to keep herself afloat, let alone support the whole Braxton bunch. At the height of her fame, Toni was generating over $170 million in record sales for her label. And guess what she got in return? Pennies. She was signed to Arista LaFace. And while the label was cashing major checks, Toni was getting crumbs. We're talking about a woman with multiple Grammys and over 70 million albums sold worldwide, and she still had to file for bankruptcy?
They were upset with me. I was told the devil was breaking up our family, the devil was raging. So it was a bad thing. My sister Tracy is the one who said to me, Toni, you know, when you make it, you can help us come on. So I always tried to abide that. But the responsibility of it is so heavy for me. I feel I can never live my life, and I never used to say it. I never used to say anything to anybody, but since we've been doing this show, I've been sick.
Twice? Something ain't adding up. Toni got her start in the late 80s, singing with her sisters as the Braxtons. Then in '93, she dropped her solo debut, and boom. It went straight to #1 on the Billboard 200 and sold 10 million copies. That album was stacked with hits like Breathe Again and Another Sad Love Song, produced by industry giants like Babyface and L.A. Reid. Then came her second album, Secrets, with Unbreak My Heart, one of the biggest singles in history. That song alone moved millions of units and had the world crying in the shower. And yet, behind all the glitz and glam, Toni was being exploited like crazy. They used her, y'all. They knew she was a goldmine and still paid her like she was background noise. If they did that to Toni Braxton, imagine what they're doing to smaller artists who don't even have a name yet. It got so bad, she took legal action and sued her label.
I kind of think it's mine a little bit,
Wow.
a little bit.
And then on top of that, when we get shows, you still charge her. I don't charge her. When the last time have I charged you for a show?
Tamar
It's been
hasn't charged me
years.
for a show for years. My sister Tamar never charges me to do background singing for me. My sister Trina does. My sister Tawanda, she's an executive assistant. That makes sense for her to get a salary. I just wish every situation was not about Toni's savings and loans.
I have never charged Toni. And what I'm saying is it pissed me off. When I saw that you and Tawanda get paid, I was pissed off.
And by January 1998, Toni had no choice but to file for bankruptcy. Again, let that sink in. So here's where things get even more twisted. Toni eventually came clean about why she filed for bankruptcy the first time. Turns out, her record deal was so messed up that she ended up with less than $2,000 in royalties. $2,000. That's all she got after making her label millions. And on top of that, she had to reimburse the label for everything. Clothes, flights, studio time, even music videos. Can you believe that? It got so wild that at one point, Toni was accused of trying to dodge her creditors by transferring around $53,000 to her ex-husband, Kerry Lewis.
T, that's my girl, my friend, my family.
Do you have sex?
That's my love, my soldier, my life. She my everything, and I trust
Because you
her.
bought her a Bentley truck.
Yes.
So the implication is That's your girlfriend.
See, my life. I love her to death.
The claim was that she was trying to hide the money to avoid paying up in court. Whether that's true or not, the drama around her finances was real, but it didn't stop there. In 2010, Toni had to file again, this time because her health took a hit. First, she was diagnosed with microvascular angina, then came lupus, and the combo forced her to cancel her big Las Vegas residency. That show was supposed to bring in serious cash, but instead, it left her empty-handed and struggling to stay afloat. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, boom, tax trouble. In 2019, the IRS came knocking with a lien saying Toni owed over $340,000 in back taxes for 2017. Not even a week later, the state of California added to the heat with their own lien, another $116,000 plus. Altogether, she was staring down nearly $500,000 in unpaid taxes. But even while Toni was drowning in debt, guess what? She was still the one keeping the whole Braxton family afloat. And here's the wildest part. While she was the one paying all the bills, Trina and Tawanda started demanding to get paid just for helping her out. Meanwhile, Tamar was actually stepping in, covering bills, and not asking for a dime. It's not like Toni expected them to work for free. She just figured that since they were getting paid, they'd help out around the house and look after their mom. But nope. According to Toni, they didn't lift a single finger. Nothing. All those responsibilities, all that pressure. It sucked the life right out of her. And say what you want about Tamar, because we all know the Braxton fam has had some messy moments, but at least Tamar showed up when it mattered. She really tried to help Toni hold things down at home, and that's more than the others can say. Now, let's talk about Birdman. Yep, that Birdman. The rumors started flying back in 2016 when people started noticing the unusual closeness between him and Toni. Then, by 2018, Toni confirmed it. They were together. But what caught people off guard was how long they'd actually been tight. She told People magazine, "He's been my bestie for like 15 or 16 years." Can you believe that? He'd been showing up for her for over a decade. Baby showers, plays, concerts, you name it. Toni said she never expected things to get romantic, but suddenly there it was. She said, "It's comforting to have someone tell you it's okay to be ill, that you don't have to be Wonder Woman all the time." That hit deep. Birdman was pulling up every night to her shows asking, "You okay? You good?" Toni was shook. She said, "Oh my God, he's such a great guy." Eventually, he made his move and told her straight up. He had always liked her. Toni was like, "You never told me," and he hit her with, "Well, you were married." Who? Plot twist. He said, "I was always digging on you." And that wasn't just talk. Toni revealed that even with her health struggles, including lupus and microvascular angina, Birdman never flinched. She didn't have to pretend with him. She said dealing with lupus meant battling the constant threat of blood clots and serious complications, and that weighed on her hard, physically, mentally, emotionally. But with Birdman, she didn't have to fake it. She said, "I can get on TV when I'm having a terrible day and smile, but he'll say, 'No, it's not a good day, I can tell.'" That kind of emotional support? Rare. Toni admitted she used to feel ashamed of her illness and thought no man would want to deal with that kind of burden. But Birdman saw past all that. She felt safe enough to be herself around him, even with just a scully, some lipstick, and no glam. She could let her hair down and just breathe. That meant the world to her. Eventually, Birdman popped the question. And yes, Toni said yes. She even posted photos of the exact moment just minutes before the engagement went down. One pic showed the two booed up in a selfie, while the other had her flexing her new ring loud and proud. Birdman even sat down with Wendy Williams and was all in his feelings. He told Wendy, "Toni is my love, my soldier, my life, my everything. I love her to death." Whew, he meant that. And Toni? She talked about the engagement too. They almost locked down a wedding date. Not once, but twice. She said they were filming Braxton Family Values at the time, and she thought maybe the wedding could bring all her sisters together. But guess what? She couldn't get them all on the same page, not even for her big day. Even with all the drama, Toni still sounded hyped about walking down the aisle again. She once said, "This is my second wedding, and I'm over 40. It's like Carrie Bradshaw, the last bride over 40. And baby, she had plans. She wanted something elegant but with a sexy twist. No more big bell-shaped gowns. This time, she was all about that vintage glam, think Great Gatsby, 1920s and 30s vibes. And the groom? Well, Birdman had his own wish list too. Toni said, he wants macaroni and cheese. And she clapped back with, can we at least do mac and cheese balls to keep it cute? Now that's compromise. She even said she'd let Birdman pick the location. He was set on California, totally against Atlanta. And his reason? He didn't want any reminders of her first wedding. Yeah, he was serious about starting fresh. But here's the kicker. The wedding never happened. Toni said they kept postponing because of her work schedule. But the streets weren't buying it. Folks were whispering that if she really wanted to marry Birdman, she would have found a way. And honestly, the timing of what happened next only made things look shadier. Not long after all that, Toni claimed she lost her $1 million engagement ring due to a possible airport theft. She had put it in her checked luggage, checked y'all, and boom, it was gone. A ring worth 7 figures just disappeared into thin air? Yeah, people weren't feeling that story. Something about it felt off. And then, bam, the breakup hit. In early 2019, Birdman posted a cryptic, "It's over," on Instagram and wiped every single photo of Toni from his page, just like that. On the flip side, Toni posted a fire pic in a red gown with the caption, "Starting a new chapter isn't always an easy choice, but always choose to be chosen. Cheers to a new year." Classy, but cold. But hold up. Here's the plot twist no one saw coming. Turns out, Toni and Birdman actually got married in secret. And even crazier, they allegedly split just 2 days later. Court docs popped up showing that TB and BW tied the knot on August 8th, then separated on August 10th. They tried to keep it hush-hush by using initials, but it didn't take much detective work for fans to figure out who it really was. Once that leaked, jaws dropped. A secret wedding and a 2-day separation? That's the kind of plot twist no one expected. So boom, just 2 weeks after that quickie marriage, Toni went and filed for divorce. In the legal docs, her lawyer described the marriage as irretrievably broken. And remember, they had only been together for 2 days before separating. But then, in a twist nobody saw coming, Toni dismissed the divorce petition in January 2025. Yup, she took it back, and Birdman signed off on it too, which means they might still be legally married to this day. This whole situation had fans scratching their heads. People were confused, and honestly, still are. Then came the rumors. Whispers that Toni might have only married Birdman for the money. Now, I can't say for sure if that's true, but considering how deep her financial struggles were, you can see why people started talking. The street's been saying Toni never fully bounced back financially. And guess what? Based on reports, it's still Tamar who's holding her down, just like she always did. Everyone else? Crickets. Toni spent years supporting everybody else, and now she's barely got anyone showing up for her the way she did for them. But let's keep it real. Marrying someone and dipping after 48 hours? That's shady. But do you think Toni would actually go through all that just for a check? Or is there more to this story than we even know? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear everything. And while you're down there, let me know what you think about Toni holding up her whole family for years while still dealing with illness, money problems, and relationship chaos. She's been through it all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more wild celeb breakdowns, just like this one. This is Juice Alert, and I'll catch you in the next one.